Yo, the core difference between crypto in 2017 and crypto in 2022 is that back then we didn't have any ways to generate cash flow with our coins, whereas now we can actually put our coins to work for us thanks to DeFi, right? And this does two things in the end of the day. Number one, you can cost average down your entry prices so you can absorb some of the price volatility or potential crashes. And number two, you can even generate cash flow, meaning you can generate passive income, right? And if you want to learn what about the best DeFi applications and yield generators in the Cosmos space, then stick around to the very end of the video. Now, since the whole idea of Cosmos is to have an internet of sovereign blockchains, it also means that each of these chains, the Cosmos Hub, Osmosis, Terra, Stargaze, Sifchain, right? You name it. All of these chains, they have their own validator set, which means that the tokens that are attached to this chain, in the first case, are there to secure the chain, means they're staking tokens. And whenever there are staking tokens involved, it also means there's an inflation and emission of new coins. And if you stake your coin, you basically earn the inflation. So that means that you can generate staking rewards, a staking income. And if you're very early with something that has product market fit, that gains real world adoption, you're not only benefiting from kind of like increasing your coin count through staking rewards, but in the best case, also the price goes up. So you're amplifying that, you're just leveraging that, right? That's why you should always stake your coins natively on chain if you believe in the chain, if you believe in the product, right? And I see a lot of people still have their coins on Binance Earn or in Kraken or in all these like centralized things where they're not maximizing their yields, where they're not getting all the airdrops, and just missing out on a lot of potential. So the number one thing I want to share with you guys is always stake your coins natively on chain through Keplr, and I'm going to show you how that works in a second. But staking is incredibly important to secure the chain, but also you can generate cash flow, right? Passive income. So that's the first thing that you should remember. And the second thing is when you stake your coins, you have to compound them. If you're not compounding them, you're not doing it right. You're not maximizing the potential again, right? Compounding means you claim your staking rewards and you stake your staking rewards, right? So the basis is always increasing. So in a percentage, at one point, it will grow exponentially, right? Example, I've done this with Osmosis, basically the day it came out. I've done it with Juno, basically the day it came out. Same with Stargaze, right? And in the very beginning, they have insane staking rewards, 3, sometimes even 4 digits in percentages. Now imagine what that does to your collateral, to the coins that you initially purchased, right? And then the entry price doesn't matter too much if you just multiply those coins through staking and compounding. So the first thing that you need to do if you want to generate cash flow, if you want to generate passive income in Cosmos chains, is you need to set up your Keplr wallet, which is very easy. Write down your seed phrase, right? All these things, you're aware of that. And then you can stake them natively through Keplr, right? So very simple. You can do it through the browser extension. You can also do it here because it will send you here. You choose a validator and then you delegate to them very, very easily, right? When choosing a validator, I think it's important to avoid centralized exchanges like Kraken, like Coinbase Custody, right? Luckily, we're not seeing Binance here anymore. They actually got jailed. I think if you look them up here, they should be appearing somewhere. Yeah, Binance staking jailed for whatever reason. I don't know what happened there, but just avoid centralized exchanges. Look at the commissions, see like, Kraken has 100% commission. So if you delegate to them natively on chain, you're not getting any rewards. Same for Paradigm at this point. But yeah, look at some of the validators that you might even have heard of, right? Like Chorus One is doing incredible things in the Cosmos ecosystem. Harvest is building Regularity DEX. Cephalopod from Ethan Buckman, right? Figment, they're doing so much. Inclusion from Zekimanian. With Cryptocito currently ranked 56, which is absolutely insane. So you can also delegate to us. But yeah, choose your validator and then just stake, claim, and compound, right? Once you're staked, you will see here that there's something popping up that says claim. So you click it on and then claim your rewards and stake them. And that's it, right? So yeah, same for Osmosis. You'll see a lot of like nodes that are repetitive across all the other chains. So I'd say like the basis is like, I would say, I don't know, 30-40% of the validators you see on other chains, right? Also Chandra Station is doing a lot. Binary Holdings, Friends Validators, Strange Love, right? Like you'll see those validators appearing over and over on other chains. So you already get a phase like how much skin in the game do they really have. But yeah, choose your validator. Look, keep an eye on the commissions. Maybe do a bit of a background check. Who you're delegating to. Check their activity also in governance, and you should be fine, right? So yeah, those are kind of like the first steps how you get started to generate cash flow in Cosmos. And now let's look into some numbers. So one site that I recommend is the BronBro Dashboards, right? It looks very raw, but it's very informative and very exciting. So if you take the example of Osmosis, we already seen that it has an APR of 80%. You can also see some other stuff like active validators, all these kind of things. And you can take these dashboards, for example, to evaluate the on-chain statistics for this project, right? So APR of Osmosis is 80%. There's a 14-day unbonding period. More than a third of the coins are bonded, right? So only 2/3 are in circulation. A total supply is 256 million coins, more or less. And yeah, you can just see some of the numbers here, right? The Osmo price and all these kind of things. So yeah, this is one example for Osmosis, and that's also my main, I would say, like my main coin that I'm compounding because the APRs are so high. And if you compound it again, it's even higher, right? Extremely bullish on Juno, right? I've been farming and staking it since day one, staking it basically. And if you look at the numbers, it's at 94% APR, right? With an inflation of 40%. I do expect this number to go down, but at the same time, the inflation also goes down. In the second year, it's going to cut in half. I think it's going to go to 20% and then to 10% and then gradually go to zero. So Juno actually has a hard cap. Yeah, once this is reached, there will be no inflation anymore. So those APRs will go down, which is why it's even more important to start there very soon, right? If you haven't done it yet, but you have some Juno, start to stake and compound right now, right? And this is just one thing, the APRs. Another thing is airdrops, right? We haven't even talked about this. But yeah, you can also see the bonded ratio, how much is in the community pool. A lot of money, right? However, here the unbonding period is 28 days, right? So double the amount on Osmo. So you also have to be aware of that in case you want to have your coins more liquid and you're struggling between Osmo and Juno. In that case, if you prioritize the speed to get your coins liquid, you'd probably go with Osmo, right? But if you want to maximize your yield, you'll probably go with Juno, right? And then you do some background check on the projects and you say which one has even more price potential, and then you evaluate from there. But let's look into some others. Stargaze, also one of my favorites. Amazing tokenomics, amazing price, absolutely nuts. Market cap still only $400 million. An APR above 100% with an inflation of only 35%, right? So less inflation than Juno, higher APRs, less tokens that are bonded in total, but only 14 days unbonding. So you see, that's how you get a feeling for like what's going on in this chain. Max supply is 4 billion. I think it's also going to be reached after 10, 12 years. I'm not even fully aware of this. But yeah, this is how you get a feeling for the chain. And this is also how you can refine your strategies, right? Also put into context the market caps, right? So for example, if one coin goes up in value a lot, but you're earning solid cash flow with it, you could potentially take those staking rewards to buy another coin that has very strong fundamentals, that has very high APRs, but maybe is currently on a dip. So you can take those staking rewards to put it into another coin and just increase and leverage your positions in that way, right? I've been doing this for the past months and it's been incredibly rewarding, right? Now, there's another coin that you could look up. That's a bit of a more risky play, I would say. It's the first meme coin in the Cosmos ecosystem, Chihuahua, and only has a market cap of $142 million, but APR of 300%, right? And I've been watching the price. It went up. I think it went up almost to a cent. So it's right now on a huge dip. Since it's a useless meme coin, I don't know if that will ever recover, but there's a giant community behind it, and 300% APR. However, 28 days unbonding, right? Only 15% of the coins are bonded. So you see the risk here in terms of like token distribution, who owns how much of the supply. I think especially in Chihuahua, a lot of the coins are still held pretty much by the guys who developed it, and I think they're also anon, so a bit more riskier. But yeah, Chihuahua is another one, right? There you can generate solid cash flow just by staking it, right? And you can go through this list here. I'll drop the link. You can evaluate those things here, right? For example, in Cosmos, you see 62.5% are bonded, right? 9.7% inflation, 16% APR, right? Like, if you're not bonding your atoms yet, you're just missing out, like on an amazing opportunity in APR, but also on a bunch of airdrops, right, that are coming in this ecosystem. So another way how you can generate cash flow, obviously, is through decentralized exchanges, right? And in Cosmos, there's a lot. So we're going to go through them real quick. Obviously, in my opinion, the best one is Osmosis, launched in June 2021. And since then has been flawless, incredible increase in demand and user activity, liquidity, like all these stats. Like Osmosis is absolutely killing it, and the price is at $9.19. Every 24 hours, you get your rewards distributed to your wallet. Rewards for incentivized pools, right? So all these pools have Osmo staking rewards. Those numbers, those APRs that you see are in Osmo. So if you provide liquidity for the Ion Osmo pool, you will get not just 0.5% in swap fees proportionally to how much you have in the pool, but also you get APRs for providing liquidity, so you're incentivized to do so, right? And yeah, one thing that you can also do, you scroll a little bit further down here and you see the external incentives pools, right? So they separated this now. Also, you can see for how many epochs this is still going on, right? So here, for example, in the tick pool, micro tick, you still have 55 days of external rewards that are going on there, right? And there's many, many more. 58 days for the Bitcana pool, 39 for Luna UST. Another thing that's actually coming here on Osmosis, and you'll be able to superfluid stake your LP tokens. So I will explain really briefly what it is. It's basically the inverse part to liquid staking, right? So liquid staking, what you're doing, you stake your asset on chain. In Cosmos, you can do that through pstake. You will be able to do that very soon natively on the Cosmos Hub. It's going to be built into the protocol where you can liquefy your staked asset, meaning you get another token that is liquid, backed by that staked asset, and then you can use that. You can sell it, you can trade it, you can provide liquidity with it, right? You can earn extra yield in DeFi. So liquid staking, you stake your asset, you liquefy your asset, you use that liquid asset in DeFi. Superfluid staking is the inverse, because what you do first, you do DeFi. In that case, you provide liquidity, right? Similar what you already used to do, but instead of just like putting that token, that LP token, in a contract that earns you farming rewards and doesn't secure the chain, you can stake your LP token natively on the chain, right? And let's say in that case, you have Atom and Osmo that you have in an LP share that earns you swap fees. You can now take that LP share, stake that on the Osmosis chain, and then through IBC, I think that's going to be the next version 2, you'll also be able to stake your Atom at the same time on the Atom chain. So you're securing both chains and you're earning staking rewards for both tokens. And there's a rebalancing because obviously there's impermanent loss involved. So this has to be automated, and every few minutes or seconds it will be rebalanced. I think it's going to be a few minutes or something like that. But this is superfluid staking, and the big innovation here is that you're actively securing the chain, right? You're not just farming rewards and staking rewards, which is just game theory. No, you're actually securing the chain, and that's a big revolution. So Osmosis is a platform that I've been using since it came out. I've been making videos. I met a lot of people here in the US. Like, a lot of people said, thanks to your videos, I got into it so early, and it's been a life changer. So now another DEX that is really, really exciting, that is about to go also live with incentives, is Junoswap, right? Junoswap already has deep liquidity, 21 million in a Juno Atom pool, 5.8 million Juno UST, and the list goes on, right? There's a lot of tokens here that you can already conduct swaps with, right? You can trade Juno for Atom here on Junoswap and connect it with your Keplr wallet. You can do IBC transfers, deposit and withdraw tokens onto the Juno chain. So this is really exciting. And the most exciting part is that there will be a giant airdrop for the raw token, which is the native governance token of Junoswap DEX. And this will be also the incentive token for people that provide liquidity. Right now, you see here in the APR section, it says 0% everywhere, right? Because the raw token is not live yet. But it will go live extremely soon. And if you're early in these pools, I remember first day in Osmosis pools, APRs were extremely high, like over 1,000%. So since there's already liquidity and Cosmos is much bigger now, I don't know if we're going to see 1,000+% APRs, but at least a few 100% for also even the big pools here, right? So get ready for that. Provide liquidity already, do some swaps, do some trades. I think all snapshots for the raw token were taken, but nevertheless, if you're early with these things, even though you missed out on airdrops, you can still make money. You can still generate cash flow with this protocol. So Junoswap must be, you have to be there very early on if you're excited about Juno and Cosmos and all the tokens within the ecosystem. Now, another DEX in the Cosmos ecosystem, and that has been the first one to actually build an Ethereum bridge, is Sifchain, right? And Sifchain, they had a little bit of like, back and forth in the beginning and a little bit of challenges to overcome, and also kind of like always behind a little bit with Osmosis when it comes to adoption and traction. But still, if you want to farm, if you just look at IPRs, this is way, way better than Osmosis, right? Like 327% for USDC, 307% for Atom, 306% for Ethereum. And since it's implementing Peggy, which is an Ethereum bridge, you have all Ethereum assets here as well, right? Osmosis doesn't have that yet. But yeah, the APRs are pretty big. I don't know details, but I think they have a fixed APR here, which is part of their marketing program and how they roll out the product and get more adoption, is that they have these fixed APRs, 300% for those pairs, and then 100% for basically all other tokens, which is crazy if you think about it. So yeah, very different design. Only $52 million in TVL compared to the 1 billion plus on Osmosis. Provide liquidity, you can swap, you can do trades here, you can set your slippage, and yeah, that's exciting, right? And then you can even go ahead and say, hey, my staking rewards, my liquidity rewards, which obviously here are in ROWAN, which is a native token of Sifchain, you can take those and you can stake them, right? So you just maximize you compound your interest, you compound your rewards, right? Einstein said the biggest power of the universe is compound interest, right? Is compounding things, because at one point it will grow exponentially. Obviously, you always have to take into consideration also the price, right? So the ROWAN price has been suffering a lot; it's below 10 cents, but still, if you're purely in it for the APRs and think that this is a cool product, and you even have some Ethereum assets, maybe this makes sense to play around with. Now, very, very lastly, in terms of DEXs, Emeris, they're about to launch publicly. They also did some rebranding. Also, the company that initially developed it, or is still kind of like developing it, Tendermint, they just rebranded to Ignite and hand over most of the marketing for the Cosmos Hub to the Interchain Foundation. Maybe I can do a separate video on that. But Emeris is one of their flagship products. Currently, no incentives, nothing going on here. Even though there's liquidity already here, $2 million in the Atom Osmo pool, 2.7 in Atom Iris. I think this is actually, I don't know if that's real numbers, but you can provide liquidity here still. If you click on it, add liquidity, and then if you have balances, then you can do that really easily, right? And also IBC transfers and all these kind of things. And I assume that there will be a retrospective airdrop for early liquidity providers and traders and users of Emeris or of the Gravity DEX, which is the underlying kind of like trading engine behind this this DEX. and Emeris is just the name of the front end of this DEX. But yeah, that's why I've been making videos months ago where I said, hey, I'm just providing liquidity here now. Obviously, no, not all in, because you miss out on all the rewards currently on Sifchain and Osmosis, right? And Junoswap DEX that's coming up. Now, one thing to wrap things up that I wanted to show to you, how impactful compounding can be in silence, right, behind the doors. Golden ratio staking, to whom I'm also delegated with my NUM airdrop, has been making a bunch of like calculations and even an Excel sheet. What's the actual APR on NUM, the NUM token that was airdropped to Atom stakers and Atom holders? And it's 4 digits. It used to be above 2,000% for a long time, and I think now it's just below that. But yeah, the airdrop was already distributed. You could claim it, and you can already stake it. And just, I think at this point now, in the past couple of weeks, since it came out, you could already double the amount of money that you got airdropped, right? And a lot of people, they're very short-sighted. They see, oh, here's an airdrop. Oh my God, it's only 2 tokens. Like, that's boring. I don't bother to, I'm already like, I'm disappointed. Instead of saying, hey, what's, digging a bit deeper, learning about the protocol, learning about tokenomics, utilities, timelines, and staking, and you can compound it, right? So that's one thing that I think is super important to understand. Similar things count for Sommelier, which doesn't have inflation activated yet, but once it will be activated, you can already delegate your tokens. Just you don't earn rewards because there's no inflation. But once it's going to be there, the first few days to stake Sommelier, and most of you guys got an airdrop because you watch my videos, you've been providing liquidity on Osmosis. It's going to be really big, I guess. So just play around with these things, and at one point you will catch one thing that actually does a 10x and actually has 4-digit APRs. And if you do that for a couple of weeks, you should be fine. So yeah, I hope you enjoyed this video on kind of like staking and yield opportunities in Cosmos. There's obviously much more to it. It's just a small overview, but yeah, if you appreciate it, share it with your friends, and I'll see you guys on the next one. Stay safe and be good.